countries, it raped babies, it smallpox children, it took the land. If that virus is that living, growing, malignant virus, then damn it, if we want to live, we're going to have to kill it. Now, a lot of people don't want to bone up to it. He can't be reasoned with. I suggest to you, he's so deep in his thing, he's too late for him now. He done barcoded the world. Airplanes, trains, buses got barcodes on them. They're injecting them into the dogs and the cats and the horses. Now when a rich businessman wants to save himself from being kidnapped, he has a little microchip put in the back of his neck and behind his ear, so that wherever he's taken, they can turn the machine on and find him. Because his beeper's going to go off and it's cut up in the back of his ear. This is what they see when it gets dark. They're going to be lost. They're going to need to know how to get home, so they're going to try to beat their way back. I'm lost. Where did they take me? It's back to the hills where you came from. Right? We reserved these spots for you. We got fences around them. Right? Reservations. They've been reserved for them. So that be important to us. So we watch very carefully these agents of centralization. The company that's doing the universal product coding of the babies is called LifeBank Incorporated. LifeBank Incorporated. They're paying doctors $40 for every baby they can do. So they're giving them a bounty to turn over the number. Now we love our children. We say we do. But I know, and I ain't even gonna get into this, but if you pay taxes, you know that to get your children on your tax form and to get the exemption for your children, you got to give them a Social Security number. Now, it's costing me $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a year not to turn my babies over. What am I saying? I love them enough that I will pay more money not to give up a number. I ain't going to have to keep giving the money up, because when we win, the number game is over. Right? So I see victory in sight, so I'll go on pay. I'll get my money back. We'll have all the money when we win. That won't be what will make us any better than them. It will be that we were responsible with all of the money and all of the leadership, and that what we spread with our responsibility was goodness and positive activity. And we sought not to hurt another person just to have something more for ourselves than what we need. We will offer something better than what they had. That's why we will incur the right to lead. If we are prepared for this, then we will get it. How will we be prepared for it? One is we will pull off of it. You got to pull off of it. It's going to be hard pulling you off of it. They spent so many years getting you in it. I remember they had riots in Chicago one Friday night when the TV went off. Actually, the electricity went off, but they wasn't asking for lights, they was asking for TV. And that's heavy. That's a fix to it. Go out and try to have a meeting on Thursday night when they're watching Cosby and Different World. You can't even have no meeting because everybody watching TV. The football or Michael Jordan be on. See, I'm glad y'all ain't. See, they're playing now. Y'all ain't there. That means that doesn't have a thing to do with your destiny. Therefore, you pulled up off of it. Pulled up off. Just look. If we're trying to say that the people who run UCLA are the colors and cutthroats who murdered our race, and if our children go there, then that confuses the issue. So they must pull off, and then they're jeopardized. I won't get a job. You're not gonna get a job, no way, man. They ain't giving you nothing. You gotta come over here and get some bean pies and newspaper. Right? That's when you get a job with the people. They got no jobs for you. That's right. And that's the thing about changing your lifestyle and being self-sufficient. That is the revolution. Everybody talking about the revolution, right? Put on the dashiki Monday morning, they be back at work, Wazir. Toiling away, eating stuff from the white man because they can't do no better. And I know how bad you feel when you got to go there and he say do it and you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. He say you need lunch now and you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. He say I need you Saturday, Chumpy, and you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. And I say that when you get free, you'll be relieved about how less cancer you'll have, how little AIDS you'll have, and any other thing, because you'll feel so good your body will fight off all the diseases. And this must be done for the people, for they will die biting their tongues. you suppress that frustration they put in you and you eat yourself up. So we got to relieve the people of the psychological murder that's inflicted by swallowing their spit about who done it. Right. So we have to alleviate the pressure, and the pressure will be alleviated by focusing on the viruses, because you know you can cure the disease with the antidote when you get a good reading on the depth of the virus. So if I'm describing the virus, then maybe here is the antidote. So I do the best I can to try to focus on it so we can draw attention to it specifically so we can keep coming up with the right remedy. See, our people, we say we need a doctor, right? So their head is hurting. They got toothache. And they say get a doctor, so old boy didn't understand, so he sends a podiatrist in. He's a doctor, but he take care of bunions and little toes and ingrown toenails. He can't fix the head of the teeth. So it ain't just any doctor, it's the right doctor for the right problem. And that we have to lock in on that. It isn't just any moment, it has to be a specific moment. Now I suggest that everybody don't want to win, so that's really the confusion we're having. Everybody don't want to win. They really, they just, brother, make a little money, we're going to do a little of this, do a little of that. It's no big deal. We'll never whip them. You've been in the room, you'll never whip them. Well, you may never whip them. And you just need to move on off to the side and just don't get involved to stop the ones who are trying to whip them. I got a call from a guy today from a local radio station here in Los Angeles who called me because at a lecture Saturday night I mentioned the name of a guy who had been blocking me out of New York. And his name was Alambe Brown Raff. And I mentioned his name in the lecture. I named the names. I do not duck. I sleep good at night because I get it off of me. So when somebody blocking me, now I got up in there, but I had to then turn around and identify the ones who blocked me. Because when the people say they love it, I say, well, let's see who was blocking it. That's right. Because this is important. This probably has got some connection to do with what the thing was that was going on. So when we get up and name the thing, so a guy called me up and said, look, why are you beating on this guy? I said, well, really, I never knew the guy. And I don't have anything against the guy other than that I was going to try to kill this virus, and he jumped up and got in the way. That's right. Now, he didn't know me either. And it might have been accident. But anybody that gets your brothers on post, and y'all moving the minister, Brother Wazir, and you've been told that you're going down this street, and you're going down this aisle, or you're going down that walkway, and I ain't been with the mayors, with the security. You going down there, you don't care who's in that line, you're moving them out of the way. Because that's how you gonna move the one you with. You will take anybody out of the way to get to the end of that mission. So when someone shows up, it's not personal. It's whoever shows up. It could be, they might be with you one day, they might fall into the aisle the next day. You have to just have a uniform way of dealing with them every day so that they understand you're on a mission. When they know you're serious. That's right. They will give you a, you know how people act differently when the Muslims are around? They put the cigarette away. They got the pork, they're trying to cover their sandwich up. Right? This has an impact on perception, behavior, and character, and they feel the weight. Now, how can somebody feel the weight? You see the brother with the paper, they try to walk on the other side of the street. What is the pressure that they feel? You don't have your hands on them. By what authority do they feel this pressure? That's the authority that you incur for being righteous, and they feel the pressure, and you don't even need to put your hand on them. By what authority do I feel this pressure? So I told the brother, I said, hey, listen, the brother will never have a problem with me as long as he don't show up in the path. It's nothing about him personally. And I suggested to the brother that he should go and talk to the brother. And talk to him in a way that he would come to understand. And if it is that he isn't who we thought we was, then we can expect a lot of support from him in the future. That's how we'll measure that it must have been a mistake. Because how could you hear it and not like it? So we'll get that worked out very soon in the future. And even in New York, brothers were very good to me, protect me. We had a little situation, walk out the Slave Theater in Brooklyn. All of a sudden, 3, 4, 5 little young brothers start drifting over to where we standing like they having some little fist fight. And all they doing is falling over into the circle where at the end of the lecture, 25, 30 of us stood outside and talked. Brothers were there from the nation and the other brothers around the Slave Theater, and they tried to drift into us with this little fight with the guns hanging off their hands. And brothers moved in and moved them off the path. Moved the fight, moved the whole operation off, and as soon as they were pushed away, they stopped fighting. Because that was a fake fight. I could tell the way they was hitting each other wasn't right. Brothers moved the car up off the curb. Everybody got in ready position. Sister was there. We jumped on and moved on away. Down in Dayton, Ohio, under attack at a conference down in Dayton, Ohio, for the Dayton Black Cultural Festival, where they had Naeem Akbar and Steve Coakley, and the Jewish community said Coakley can't speak. Well, you can have Akbar. You can have Naeem Akbar, and it's not in disrespect to the brother, but they looked over our programs and decided that one could and one couldn't. The question becomes, what is the difference in the two? They both for the black thing. They're both sweating and spitting on the front row and getting sweaty and fighting real hard, and we both huffing and puffing. But there's a difference in how we operate, so there's a difference in what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. I'm ruthless about this fight. I'm in it to the end, and they know the difference. So I don't get all the privileges and the pressures and the pleasures that others are given, and I'm singled out sometimes for being associated with profound, clean, good-living people like yourselves. Imagine being chased out of a mayor's office for giving a speech with good, clean, loving people. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't use profanity, respect their women, live and be self-supportive. Hey, what is this about? If that ain't straight one way, imagine. So from that I conclude this must be the devil that we're pinpointing. Because who else would be against such good living and association?
That's right.
Who would be against that but the devil? Who is manifested in the form of certain Europeans who meet at certain places at certain times, run certain institutions, and have done certain things. Right? So these must be the chief lieutenants of whatever will rise up when the nations centralize. The nations have centralized. Here's a little piece. This is in a British newspaper. August 25th, 1991. Unraveled, Bush set to police the planet. I want to show this. This is a British newspaper.
Yes, sir.
Now, the British, who were the colonialists that helped bring about this New World Order, helped colonize Africa with Cecil Rhodes and Lord Rothschild. Okay. We're going to talk about Rothschild because the Jewish people always like to say they was never in it. But we know they was in it. We know the days they were in it. Everybody into the X. When Cecil Rhodes left his will, in his third will, he left 7. In his third will, he left everything he had to Mr. X, and they ain't talking about Malcolm or X-American. X was the code name for Lord Rothschild. And we're going to talk about that from one of the beastly books.
Yes, sir.
Because we quote the good white sources, because we need these good white sources to identify and make the people believe. The collapse of the Soviet Union in the aftermath of the coup leaves the United States the one unchallenged and unchallengeable world power. Unchallengeable. Yeah. Well, we've been challenging them every day. That's right. They have been challenged, and they feel, look, why do you think the FBI coming home? I said, look, white boys, we better close down quick and get united. I see the black men and women coming. Listen. In other words, if we weren't as close to them as we are now, it'd be 1999 when Europe got together. They would have took the wall down in 2010. Listen. They make money off of war. They had to come up with a new gimmick called savings and loan scandal to make money now. They used to just use the war to make the money to build the bombs that they never built anyway. We never checked, so we never cared. They give up $95 billion the night before Thanksgiving to pay out for savings and loan. $95 billion will take you 365 years to give away. If you gave away $1 million a day. That's so much money we can't even conceive of it. The point of it is they can get that off of us because we're not tending to the guard, and they can rape us with those earthly games. That's right. Confidence. That's right. As they call it, it's confidence game. Yes, C-O-N, C-O-N period, F-I-N-C. Right, confidence. Yes, sir. And the point of that is that possibly they have studied us well enough to know that if they don't move now, 499.5 years of white supremacist activity will go down the drain. So they have decided that this will be the moment when they unite to find the common enemy. I had to find a clue about who the common enemy was.
Yes, sir.
I'll show you this story up here. James Baker, head of the State Department. goes to the Soviet Union to meet with the KGB. When he meets with the KGB, this becomes a historic meeting. The head of the KGB and the head of the State Department meeting. How times change. KGB welcomes Baker. Now, we had spoken for years about the White Brotherhood, meaning that though they appeared to be enemies, they were together all along. We talked about that for years. If you go back through those tapes at The Nation, go back through even old Savior's Day tapes and pick up the little Coakley versions, and you will see very clearly we predicted very accurately every little thing that the white would do to force up his unification as if it was some accidental theory of unity. This had been planned years ago. So it says here, new chief asked, who's our enemy? The white Russian and the white American are looking for someone to duke. Now I suggest to you that the FBI, we don't use the word hello, we don't say it, we say good afternoon. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. He says that this is who we're looking for. We're looking for an enemy. And I suggest to you that we're it. And I suggest to you that when the FBI counterintelligence force, was that the new paper that come out, brother, that you had up here? The article in there about the FBI coming into them urban cities? Using a counterintelligence specialist. Now, if I'm a good at naming the names, don't put me on post to swat flies, because I'm better at naming names than swatting flies. So let me do what I was built to do. So if I'm an FBI, and I'm a counterintelligence on people. You ain't gonna bring me back to the urban city and all of a sudden I'm good at making biscuits, now I'm gonna start making ham hock? Decisions. They call him with the decisions. He says, yes, Mr. Hahn, yes, Rabbi. Yes, Mr. Hollywood director. Yes, Mr. Bush. Yes. And every time we get out of hand, they're the ones sent to hold us back. Deacons holding back the black people from going after the Korean. Rarely on TV, holding back the black people from going after the Korean. See, Korea got more lobbyists in America than we do. Lobbyists, people who represent their interests for money. That's how they got that relationship. Koreans donate money to Bradley. Right? So that's, and obviously they got protection. They can murder without going to jail. Here's a man who's going to murder without going to jail. And I suggest to you, just like I suggest about Gates, that is not where we will seek justice. Justice is in our hands. We have the authority to execute the justice based upon prayer and the best possibility of identifying who done it. We have the right to execute when our mind is sound that this is the right decision. We have this right. We can use it. It is ours. We are the victims. Anyway, right, as in code talk, say when we have clubhouse meeting, we're gonna meet at the Price Club, we're gonna meet at Sam's, that's what we hold in club meeting. That's in code check. Okay? So this unity of these white forces, here's another article you'll see here. There's an interesting one. This is from Chicago Sun-Times, December 29th, 1991, when Europe went shopping in Africa. Is that what it says? When Europe went shopping in Africa. It's about, when Europe went shopping in Africa. Notice the white man at the top got the gun. The black man at the bottom got the spear. The black man's arms are open like, kill me. The white man got the gun like, I'm coming for you. And it says, subtitled, The Scramble for Africa, the white man's conquest of the dark continent. That means that he conquested it, he ain't gave it back yet. That means that we must secure it. The case in point to that is that he has even admitted to us that he has taken something that didn't belong to him. And that only means that we can right the wrong as he described it to us, that we have again incurred this right. So here comes this FBI within these urban cities. In Washington, D.C. is where they developed the model to go get the FBI to put them in urban cities. Washington, D.C. is black. The blacks have the whites and the white institutions surrounded. They cannot get away unless they jump in the Potomac River. We have them surrounded. We might not know, all of us, that we got them surrounded, but they're hearing it now. Hey, look, we got them surrounded. You know how you get when you look up and notice something? All of a sudden you've been out, we got them surrounded. And he looks up and says, oops, they got me surrounded. The lights went out in Washington, D.C. about 3-4 Mondays ago. The White House went out. That was the Monday before Bush fell out on Wednesday. From what they call a syncope, which is a temporary loss of oxygen to the brain. But they say he had the flu. That's not one of the symptoms of flu. So we know even he having a hard time. In the real world, having been a killer, he might be killed by the ones he know kill because he's been with him killing them. So that's goose in the gander. He understand that game. So he ain't got no problem about that because he's been a part of it. So he's in the reap what you sow. I'm in the in crowd. That's what the in crowd do. So he understand that. But that we need to understand that people after him and they're of his own race. And that the Zionists and the WASP are fighting and they're of their own race. And this is important for us because in the end, when they have risen as far as they can go, we know when the signal is for us to take over. It's like the Tower of Babel all over again. He has risen as far as he can go. Now we can't understand each other anymore. This is a signal for us that there's going to be a void in the direction and control of the country. And it's just going to open up. All you got to do is step in it. And it's going to open up because part of what we need done, they're going to do for us. Just like they helped us do it to us. We sold some of us to him. Right now we got the Boule, the black male secret society. Bradley in it, Dinkins in it, Wilder in it, Jackson in it, Jacobs of the Urban League in it, Hooks, Crooks in it. When they get in these things and they agree to be a part of these secret societies, and they take that secret society and go out and serve the white man, and then they have relationships where they're serving out of these secret societies, then hey, it'd be clear to us that the law has to work uniform so that when these guys don't fight, and we send them there to fight, then when we pass judgment, we terminate, then we determinate. Right? We have to, the right to determinate is in the power of terminating. And we humbly accept this responsibility. Humbly. So now that the FBI has come and targeted the youth, as Brother Wazir said, and the paper says as they have targeted the youth, why do you target the young black male? Now I just have to slide over, so this is not in disrespect for you. For they know that possibly you are the strongest elements of our race. You have been the most consistent and continuous. But they also know that as time has passed, the most overt, visual, angriest element of the race is the young black male. And before you kill the race, you theorize that this young black male who has no stake in the system, ain't up in UCLA, ain't got the car note, the house note, sitting up on the rap music, listening to the Farrakhan tape, listening to Copley tape, hearing from Dr. Khaled, listening up and sitting down and saying, you know, I ain't been to school, but I'm pretty damn smart. I done had enough of this. So he sits up and he starts identifying people he don't like. Kill the police, get the Arizona people. They sitting up singing a song about another day. You'll see white people sitting up in FBI, slowing down the tape trying to hear what the rap music is saying. You heard them Jamaicans do it? The Jamaican brothers be doing it? And they sitting up trying to decode it. What are they saying? What are they saying? Trying to figure out what is going on, and it's in code. They can't get it. That's right. But the youth who were denied the opportunity of knowledge got the knowledge anyway from youth who sat at the feet of brothers like this and then went out and told their story in music. And though they can't read that well, they can't write. Some of them can't even read a watch without a digital on it. I was shocked. As I sit with the brothers, they can't even tell time, some of them, unless it's a digital, making an easement for them. So easy they negate their responsibility. But somehow, in spite of all of that, they have gotten the message. I remember it started with don't believe the hype. Right? And you go through all of that, you're not doing too bad because of that. Meaning that if you listen very closely, you'll hear yourselves emulated between the lines. Subtly, subliminally, without being in the room. Maybe they may not ever make it to the meeting. But they have internalized that amongst you, there is respect. So what happens if these brothers and these brothers were the enforcers of our community and everybody had to abide by the jurisdiction of the elders and the discipline of the enforcers? There is a way already passed very subliminally for that to be an accepted way of life. Right. In every city you stand up as a model. Don't bend your value. The people are watching you. You are in the position to do things for our race that are comparable to none within this country. Yes, right. Case in point, we're going through a transformation of trying to establish a way of life the day after the beast is no longer a problem. Right. So if we study our history of our own evolution and environment, credit must be given where credit is due. Yes, so it may seem like some don't want to listen or are not willing to obey at a moment when the beast is running it. I be telling them, how many, anybody here an informant? Anybody here informant? You're informant, raise your hand. Let's be like church. If you want to come up front and be baptized, come on. The point I make about that is that if you choose to serve the white man, you're good as long as he winning. But the day he lose, you ever seen them dudes? They was KGB, right? They had a revolution over there in the Soviet Union. They was KGB, right? Well, the day after the KGB lost, the dude was running around one day saying, "Give me this war, I'm KGB." Right. Well, when the KGB lost, that dude changed his clothes. He went out there. He said, "Hey, there he is, KGB." He said, "No, man, I'm ABC. I ain't no KGB. I don't know what you're talking about." In other words, when the other people won, the people who exercised their authority and disrespected the people immediately had a change of heart. Right. Not that their heart changed, but the circumstances changed their heart. Right. So some people are going to be with you not because they want to, but when you win, they will be with you because they must, or they will stick out and be obstructionists. And they don't want that. They want to submerge themselves. I suggest to you that you live your life like you want to be judged forever. Don't goof it off today, doing something that's counter the race, counter the community, counter what must be done, because that's only good as long as he's winning, because the day he loses, we got a new value system to measure everybody by. Think about it. And that's right, it has to be made, it has to be thought. Don't take a shot with him now, he's on his way down. Right. That's why we always say at the end of the meeting, we'll meet the informants in the back, on the side, and we want you to keep informing. I probably have employed thousands of people just trying to keep up with what I'm doing. You, the nation, have probably employed millions of people who work every day watching y'all, who come up and talk to you. "Hey, brother, what's going on?" Is it you just, I hear the stuff. "Brother Steve, where you going to be at next?" Somebody called me up. "Brother Steve, what time are you leaving to go to the nation?" "Well, brother, are you going to be there?" "No." I said, "Well, then," I almost cussed. What does that mean to you?" Right? I almost told you what I told him. So I got a little alarm and go off when I hear those questions that cross the line. Right. "Brother Steve, where'd you say you was going to be next week?" "I'm sorry, brother, I never said where I was going to be next week. What did you think you heard?" Right? When I say, "Hey, brother, what you think happened to Brother Wali?" I said, "I don't know. What you think?" He said, "Brother, I think he was stressed out." "Oh, you think he was stressed out?" "Well, brother, what do you know?" "Well, actually, brother, I don't know nothing." "Well, then, brother, why are you spreading the rumor that you think he was stressed out?" That's right. Listen to the language as they talk to you. Say, "Well, hey, brother, people, it's social workers. You got alcoholism treatment workers, mental health treatment workers, the welfare worker, the community organizer worker, who every time they go to the meeting, got to fill out a meeting form. Well, who was at the meeting? The Nation of Islam, Steve Coakley, Brother Marcus, Sister Tiome, Brother Wazir. Well, what did they say they were going to do at the meeting? Well, in a forceful presentation, Brother Wazir said, we need to quit bending down to this beast. Blank. Well, what did they say they were going to do next? Now, if you in one of them social service agencies and you getting that funding, we know the only way you get funded is if you fill out the form. Every time you go outside your building, you got to account for your time. Every one of them patients, what is a white man afraid of? He's afraid of some stressed out mental health person who don't know enough to be scared of him, who walks up in Beverly Hills or Bel Air one night, start kicking butt, saying they must be crazy. See, they locked me up, threw me in the crazy house, April 1st, 1975. That's how I got started. That's right, I got started in the crazy house. Because they felt I must have been crazy, because when they told me they would kill me if I didn't back down, they said, well, you must be crazy. Because they live in the material world, and they expect every evaluation is material, so when you don't talk materially back to them, you have to be transferred to the middle yard, because that's where they go to try to put the fear back into you. Everything I ever had has been dealt to the day that I was locked up. And it was getting out that was my resurrection. It took me 5 days to get out. Had a big march for the 4th. They didn't let me out to the 5th. My mama, daddy was scared. My friends were scared. My uncle, cousins were afraid for my life. I felt fine. I really didn't know what the big hullabaloo was. But just like in '88, you underestimate the reaction to the beast to a certain type of action. That's right. Somebody say, well, why are they reacting to this? He ain't nothing but one person. I ain't got no organization. We say, well, Coakley, he ain't got no organization. They asked Jesse Jackson at Howard. Well, what do you think of Steve Coakley? I've been lecturing at Howard 19, 20 times a year. They said, well, what do you think of Steve Coakley? He said, well, that Coakley, he ain't got no organization. Talking all that old babbling stuff about conspiracy. Nobody want to hear that. So brother said, well, look, I ain't in this organization. I would if he had one, but if he ever asked me, I'd help him. If when he's there, I'll do what he asks. When I get the tape, I do what the tape say do. So then someone else will say, well, actually, I like Brother Coakley, Mr. Jackson. What do you? So after a while, and they attacked him for it, he said, well, you know, maybe Coakley ain't so bad. But the point of it was that in 1990s, you must have covert action. Guerrilla war. That's right. That's the war of the 90s. It is very difficult to sustain an overt organization. You could speak of the pains of people. I remember in the old days when people was cutting the wires in the nation and jamming the phone lines and cutting the gas lines, just walking around the building saboteuring things. These are things that people incur the right to do over time by doing everything everybody say, even for no money. So they get rewarded. But then they got outside money that we can't count on, and we confuse their behavior as being loyalty. And over time, they have found out that takes time. Because over time, behavior surfaces. Because humans are susceptible to error, and even the best of them slip up. So the identity comes at the appropriate moment. But the whole point to all of that is about our ability to organize and to align ourselves around certain things that are going against us. What I want to do quickly is to show you a few things. In fact, this is the form. I don't know if they got this out here. They call it the Savings Club. This is the Safeway form that they put out, that if you just fill this out with Safeway, you can get in the Savings Club, and you got to give them your home phone, your work phone, the driver's license, and passport number, social security number, home phone. Now, what somebody wants your passport number to get an easement at a food store? Now, you know passports are coded too. Got the barcode right on the passport. I don't use them myself, though we do get around. Right? Just because he say that's how you're supposed to travel don't mean you have to travel that way. That's right. So we know we can get around. So in Washington, D.C., they sent the FBI into the community first. They have a black female mayor there, Sharon Pratt Kelly. Now, I was suspicious of this Sharon Pratt Kelly because when she became mayor, when it came down to where did she get her votes from, city's all black. She got her votes, because it was 6 or 7 of them running, she got her votes from the all-white ward and the mixed white ward, and the upper class black ward. That's why brothers couldn't win when they was running out there. Because the white ward, the upper class mixed ward, and the black ward all think alike. Upper class black ward. And just them together voting is enough to block out everybody else. Voting will not liberate our people. Politics will not liberate our people. Infiltrate it if you choose to. But don't identify it as a source of liberation. Politics will not whip white supremacy. It won't do it. Therefore, those excursions or those moments that we spend there should expose the contradiction that it don't work. Because the best man don't always win. That's why we know it ain't right. That's why they like it so. Because in a good game like that, the worst man can always win. And if you check carefully, I'm sure they got out here, they got that punch card vote. Got that computer thing? Now, how many of y'all ever worked in the polls before, where you worked in election day, and before you start up, they probably run a card through the machine to show you that the machine is empty. In fact, it's a white card. It's called a zero card. It's programmed to say 0, 0, 0. So when you run the zero card through, of course it says 0. But if you were to punch an 8 in a card and run the card through to see if only 8 show up, that would be a test of whether the machine worked. Found out that 30% of the machines don't add correctly. 30%, that's enough to control any election. If you got 30% of the machines that only do what you say do. That's only 30% of the people is enough to win most of these little elections, which are not ratifications of the people. Most of the people have chosen not to do it at all. That's ratification enough not to ever do it. Most of the people have chosen not to do it at all, which means it's not a source. It's not a source of direction. Who has emerged as the engineers of the upcoming New World Order? There's a phrase called G7. I want you to be familiar with this phrase because it's strange that they used the 7. And it's interesting that they used it and called it G7. That's right. The G7 met last week in New York. G7. The G7 are the G7 are, how you doing, sister? Let's see again. G7 are the 7 industrialized nations led by the United States that control money policy through the world. Now, it's important when we want to understand the satanic nature of the emerging New World Order, we recognize that it is the money boys who are the engineers of the New World Order. The money boys, it's not the Army, it's not the Air Force, it's not Schweikhoff, it's not Butt Powell. That's right. We call him Butt Powell because that's what a colon is. It's a butt. So it's named Butt Powell. I don't mean Butt Powell. I mean Butt, B-U-T-T, Powell. Butt Powell. So it ain't them that make the decisions, right? And so these engineers of the New World Order are money people. They're stakeholders. One of the places they hang out is the Paris Club. How many of y'all ever been to a Paris Club meeting? I have yet to find a black person yet that's been to a Paris Club meeting or could tell me 2, 3 people they thought ever been there. But the Paris Club, brothers and sisters, see, when we call out, and brother, you need to give me some indication about time. Like I said, I go till Tuesday. You need to just give me some time. Tell me what kind of time we got. Okay, I'll take 30. Because it'll take an hour, so I'll squeeze that into half an hour. Okay, I do the best I can, but here I come. G7. That these money engineers hang out at the Paris Club. So we be familiar with the Paris Club, and there's a newspaper called the Financial Times. Get that newspaper. It costs $1.25 a day. Now that's a lot of money for a newspaper. And in 5, 6 days of that, you'll spend $10. But it will give you an honest dialogue of the beast and its money because you got to focus on the money part of this beast. And the Paris Club is where they meet at. And if you got any friends in France, in Paris, France, ask them to search them out for you. We're in pursuit of the meeting where the beast goes, where the families decide what they shall do with the people. In other words, our goal is to search down and track this beast. We're following his prints. We've watched him murder, we've watched him kill, we've watched him assassinate, we saw him neutralize COINTELPRO, and all these other things. So we're in pursuit of him. This is a game of the hunter and the hunted. So as we're going down this game, we have identified as a track the Paris Club. We also found out that every time a country of his, some group of nation organized around a certain set of laws wants to be in on the money game, they go to the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank for approval to get right to the money of the ones who hold the money. Now, whenever I've asked Brother Wazir in any city I've ever gone to, I've gone to most of these colleges that most of them respect. I've gone to every African group in the country with dashikis and brother, they African to the bone. When I ask them who run the IMF and the World Bank, they do not know. Now, my point is that the Africans, who they say they support and love, are being boxed in by the loan agreements of the IMF and the World Bank. Now, if we want to help Africa, we can't wear the clothes. We got to take the pressure off of the Africans from the ones who are pressurizing them. Which means that if the IMF are doing it, and the World Bank is doing it, and they're on 1900 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C., and we got Washington, D.C. surrounded, then we can do something for the African that he can't do for himself. But then if we don't know that this is where we're supposed to go, because there's a conspiracy to keep you away from certain places, then we have to work very hard to put the focus back on them so that we know that's the spot we got to go to get the records that will tell us how they put the thing together.
Yes, sir.
We know that the IMF and the World Bank are attached to something called the United Nations. United Nations. Just yesterday, in your LA Times front page, over the article on the anti-terrorism unit chaired by Gates' brother. That's the bottom story. So that you can go back and check it, because you need to check on this anti-terrorist unit of the LA Police Department, because I suspect that because we're tired of being victims, we must be considered terrorists. Victims of terrorism are called terrorists. That's right. 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 Brother, to our brother Gaddafi. I sense danger for our brother in Cuba, Castro. I sense danger for our brother Lieutenant Rawlings. I sense danger, Brother Wazir, for the nation of Kenya, who has allowed brothers and sisters from here to go over and share in the benefits of black knowledge, to bring back an antidote to the exterminating element that was supposed to wipe us. Under the guise of democracy, they're destabilizing African countries. Right. World leaders urge UN to safeguard rights everywhere. Now, how can the United Nations safeguard rights when they and the ones who founded them? Do you know who founded the United Nations? The Rockefeller family. The Rockefeller family built the land and built the building and picked the people who wrote the treaty, period. They met right up here in San Francisco to build a treaty that now is the center treaty for the unity of the world. And they have something there called the Security Council. This is the highest element of the United Nations. And what would Armageddon? Yeah, that's a good word.
Yes,
anyway, it says here that world leaders, this is the first paragraph, world leaders meeting in the first Security Council summit in history. And as I said last night, that this will soon be called the Supreme Security Council. Supreme, they will identify it as the highest source of security. Bush is the chief of police. Washington, D.C. is the headquarters. And we got it what? That's surrounded. It's not surrounded. It's surrounded. We got it surrounded. We got it surrounded. Yes. Because they must know that when we say that, we mean that. And when they say surrounded, they say, oh yeah, he said it, but they didn't believe it. Even if you ain't woke, you got it surrounded just standing there. World leaders meeting in the first Security Council summit in history pressed the United Nations to abandon its tradition of non-interference in the internal affairs of countries. they're going to disengage the tradition of non-interference in countries. Now, what do that mean? You're now going to take away the support and protection of a sovereign nation? Now, I'm telling you, if you ain't never heard it ever before, that is the language of overthrowing the African countries.
That's right.
World leaders meeting in the first Security Council summit in history pressed the United Nations to abandon its tradition of non-interference in the internal affairs of countries. That's deep. Now, I just suggest to you that that is the rallying call that will signal. Yeah, well, you know, I seen it in the paper the other day. Kenya ain't democracy. So they took Kenya's IMF money. They neutralized Kenya's World Bank money. Now, what is Kenya? If you control the government of Kenya, you control the laboratories of Kenya.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So if Kenya has materialized as a medical solution to a white attack genetic with the HTLV3, excuse me, HIV retrovirus. That's why I want to put the retrovirus in, because they drop it and leave. And it don't come due until after they've gotten away. That's why the prints are so foggy. Anyway, HTLV3 retrovirus to be exact. Anyway, this attack, neutralized by the Kenyan government, has now found the Kenyan government being neutralized. And I make a point of that. Remember Brother Ortega down there in Nicaragua, who had overthrown that dude, what's his name? He was a killer, Somoza, with the Sandinistas. Then they went back and took the country back from him in an election.
That's right.
They couldn't beat him in a war, so they beat him in an election. Don't ever fall for the election as a solution to a disagreement with the beast.
No.
We can't do it that way. The IMF, the World Bank, the G7, the annual economic summits, the Bilderberger Group, the Trilateral Commission. Look at the Trilateral Commission. In '72, the Trilateral Commission brought three sides of something together, and it forms a triangle when you bring it together. Their position papers are called triangle papers. They meet every 3 months. They have one big meeting every 9 months. And they work in 3-year phases called trillenniums. Now that ain't no arbitrary picking of language. So you're right. They just not picking up things arbitrarily. So they had a big meeting in Paris, and they based down the triangle, and it looks more like a pyramid than a triangle. The Paris Plan area in '89. It is the Trilateral Commission that set up the G7. So when for years everybody said that the Trilateral Commission had no impact on what was going on with what the Europeans and Americans were doing, they said this thing has no power. Well, it emerged the G7, and the G7, along with the Supreme Security Council, have been identified as the engineers to police the New World Order.
Yes, sir.
And Rockefeller did them both. Very correct. And then we know that they hold these things together with symbolism for secret societies. We talk about the Masons. We talked about them the other day. Need to talk about this guy Lafayette. They got Lafayette Street here? I got to find it. I got to go down and look at it. Because I have got a park named after it. Probably got a statue there, and I bet you if you look at it carefully, if it is there, it's loaded with Masonic symbolism, because he was the one that brought the apron to George Washington that had the skull and bones on it. In the Virginia Masonic Temple in Arlington, Virginia, there's a picture of an apron that Lafayette gave to George Washington, and it got the skull and crossbones on it. And we know that George Washington's Bible, which sits in that Virginia Masonic Temple, ain't never moved until George Bush got made president. And that means even though George Bush don't want to admit, and the Masons don't want to admit that he has anything to do with any of that is Masonic or secret society, we know that the Masons wouldn't give up their book to a non-Mason.
That's right.
Right? And we know that to be true.
Teach, brother.
And then he talked about 1776. Isn't it strange that the French Revolution came up with a symbolic color for their flag? What was it?
Red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. So when they broke away over here, they came up with a symbolic color for their flag. What color was it?
Red, white, and blue.
And when the Soviet Union joined in the combine, they come up with some new colors. What were they? Red, white, and blue. Now, I get the impression that the New World Order is going to use red, white, and blue as the symbolism, and like a bull seeing red, we know that means charge. Right? That's in code. All that wear red, white, and blue shall be charged. That's very important. Very important. And code. Check. Little code say check. I just left Notre Dame University. I was surprised they had me there. They have a building there at Notre Dame called Theodore Hesburgh Center for International Studies. Theodore Hesburgh is the Catholics man in the New World Order program. He sits on the board at Chase Manhattan Bank. He's on the Trilateral Commission. He's in the Council on Foreign Relations Board of Directors. So when I go to Notre Dame, I say special message to Theodore Hesburgh. Because anywhere we go, we can find somebody, how they connect. The Catholics sitting there in the Godfather Part 3. The Godfather turned to the man turned to the Godfather, the new Godfather, he said, hey, we got to help our friend the Pope. He said, he got too many enemies for me to help him out. What he was suffering from was an attack from the P2 Masonic sect, who had infiltrated the Catholic Church because there was argument over whether or not, as we know they do when they go in Masonry, when they get higher, they change the books. So since we know they changed the books, and since we know that within that there was a fight between the Pope over whether or not someone should be allowed to change the book. In this book here, Behind the Lodge Door, by Paul Fisher, on the Catholics and Masonry and some Albert Pike stuff. Albert Pike is in here too. He's on that Masonic statue at Wilshire to Wright Street. Wright Street that intervenes with Crenshaw and Black Street. That's where your Masonic things sit at. Right? Come together, the Black Street and the White Street. Which means we all should know the way there. I get you can have meetings here. I said last night, we ought to have a meeting in there. I get you can have meetings in this Masonic temple. Well, see, I felt that we should have a meeting, and while we're meeting, some people should go up the stairways into the basement. We ought to look around. Might be some stolen ancient Egyptian African things there that belong to us. We'll need to secure them. Anyway, just quickly. In this book, it just talks about how Pope John Paul I tried to throw the Masons out. So he died at his 33rd day in office. Pope John Paul II tried to throw the Masons out, and he got shot in the belly. So now everything is okay, so they've come out with some agreement that they're still going to be there, and they're still there. But interestingly enough, there's a little part here by Albert Pike. I want to read you this. And this is when we know they're satanic. You see, when we study Cecil Rhodes and Lord Rothschild, we find specific moments in their life when they admit that there's no God. And they turn to each other and say, you know, should we take over that country? They say, well, I don't know, but if there's a God, I ain't going to mess with him. So then at different times, somebody gets in the room, you know how they instigate, man, don't be worried about no God, ain't no God. Let's go get him. So then they want to be the God on earth. They're going to be the Lucifer. They're going to overthrow all of God's forces and resources, so they just going to act like it ain't none. So there's moments when you find Cecil Rhodes say, it's in this book right here by John Flint, there ain't no God. So when he decides there ain't no God, he said, well, good, I'll go take Africa. As he's being initiated into the Masonic lodges of England. But in this book here, Albert Pike has a quote. And the quote says, trust no man who believes in heaven, for he'll acquiesce with misery while he's on earth. I think that was a profound statement from the Masonic boys, who are allegedly non-religious. And their point to them, their activity is that they are the here and now boys. They're the linear boys. Just do stuff. They just do stuff. It's just solo activity. So you got this sister here in a fight where white people just doing stuff, and she want to curb what they're doing and bring it around for retribution. And she's filled with the spirit of retribution. That is a revolutionary spirit. Because she knows that the linear behavior has gone on so long that everybody expects the thing to keep going like that. But you got to put that bin in their activity and bring it all around and make it 360. So when people arise that want to put the bin in the linear activity of the whites and make them comply with the law of what go around, come around, there's always trouble. So we be aware of that, because it is the deliverers of those laws who will be most responsible. Listen very carefully as time passes. I see this movie JFK out here. I look at the little young white kids turn to their daddies and mamas and say, hey, you know, daddy and mama, was you in on this? How did we get control of this thing, democracy? Why was John Kennedy shot? I don't believe you anymore. And we need this in their household. This is very important. That it be in their household that they have rivalry. It's very important for all of us. And we need to be very conscious of that. Be alert of the group called FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. I'll be back here in 2 weeks. I'm going to give a big lecture on FEMA because we need to be aware of the agency. In fact, they did a story in Time magazine December 9th called Doomsday Hideaway. It's about the little spot in the mountain in Virginia where the white people are supposed to go when civil disturbance breaks out. And it used to be under the context of a nuclear attack, but now since there ain't nobody to drop the bomb, we must be it. But I suggest that they also got a place out here in LA. I hear they even got a spot out here at the airport where the anti-terrorist unit of the LA Police Department hang out with the FBI, CIA, and the military, dug down deep in a bunker at the airport. We need to look at these things. So we need to be conscious of the desire to suspend the little phony constitution and impose martial law on the people under the guise of fighting crime in the urban community.
Yes, sir.
Under the guise of fighting drugs, they have cul-de-sac your neighborhoods, put concrete barricades, blocking off streets so you can only leave by 1 or 2 ways. So we must have some system in case it's necessary that we move in the way we choose to. Break your streets down with a map, and if the lights went out, know just where you're supposed to be at. Work these things out now and there's no conflict. When the lights went out in Washington, D.C., and FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, went on television to declare that the white people are safe. They had declared that they were safe when the lights went out, because when the lights went out, they all said the lights went out, we're surrounded. They feared for their life when the lights went out. And I suggest to you that it might be bad weather on the day it happened. It might be an earthquake, a tornado, a hurricane. But don't you back down and cuddle up and go in, you come out. Because it may whip and whine and work its way around such that when it finishes, there wasn't nobody left with us. Yeah. Good job may happen.
Yes, sir.
The only point to that is that even if AIDS was sent to us, we might not be the ones to die from it. I seen them trying to kill the rat. They ain't killed the rat yet. They ain't killed the roach. The roach everywhere. Roach everywhere. Roach taking over. I don't care if it's Orkin, Snorkin, the fire department, raid. Ain't nobody stopping the roach. Right? So I suggest that as they have done these things to us, we have built up a resistance to them that has no antidote that will remove us. Therefore, we will remain. And since we decide to be here, then we must decide to live and live in peace. And we must be prepared to deal with them to guarantee the peace that we need. This emerging New World Order was done through blood and death. They killed to get it. And I suggest that we listen carefully. We must see who it is amongst them that rises up to claim the control of all of this. One thing I know about white people, the reason we can verify what they've done in books is that when you do it, it ain't no good till you tell somebody. You know how you cuddled up with somebody real privately? You all said, I ain't gonna tell, you don't tell, I don't tell. But then you get around your buddies a couple hours later, everybody sitting around talking about what they done lately. And you slip up and say, guess who I was with last night? Not because it's important for them to know, but you want them to look favorably upon what you've done by telling them what you did, even though it was supposed to be a secret. The white man is told on himself because there's no fun doing things to people without telling them you've done it. So we know the CIA killed Kennedy and Mark, and the CIA did the COINTELPRO. They like telling on themselves because that way you can give them the appreciation for being the beast that they are. Right. Therefore, if we watch carefully, we should pick up subtle signals about who it is amongst them that they have identified as the one that they will bow down to. Someone amongst them will make them bow down, and they will give homage to that person. I remember in Living Color, when they did the thing about whether Homie would sell out. And they played it all year long. When Homie sell out, and Homie looked like he was going to sell out. Homie waited and waited and waited until what happened? He waited until Big Daddy materialized out of the clouds. When Big Daddy showed up, Homie beat him with his thing. I ain't selling out, he beat him down, but he had to draw him out. We must draw the beast out of the cave into the light. And like Dracula, he cannot suck blood in the daytime. Therefore, therefore, we know not to fight him in the cave. That's not the place to fight him. Don't fight him on his home field. Sit out and talk about, hey, Beast, you ain't nothing. Come on out here. And if you whoop him long enough, his arrogance will make him out. You remember in the first Godfather, what happened to Sonny? They knew that if you got Sonny real hot in the head and worked him up just right, messed with his sister, you could get him to run out alone when he was unprotected. So if you can guarantee that we know this beast is not at peace with himself, that's why he can't live with us, his father, in peace. Because he's uneasy, he's insecure, he's sick, he's pathological. So we know that it wouldn't be hard to know the chemistry to draw him out. So we have all these fights with him and look at all this excessive beast coming out. I remember when the minister did the interview at the Washington Post. The second question they asked was, you still helping that Steve Coakley? And everybody had to pause and stop like, why would they be asking so late, way up here about a brother way back over there? The important thing is that the beast was drawn out. He was forced to have to reveal himself. If it ain't nothing to it, what's the fight? Just let me go on out and be a kook. I've been a crazy, that's called me crazy. Right. But the point is that the pinpoint is in there about the virus, and they hope you don't pick up on it. In this little program that we have today, I couldn't do justice to all the things I need to say with you. We're sharing more spirit than we are facts. I suggest to you that the tapes and the videotapes that I have back there are a better representation of the Rhodes Rothschild Secret Society, secret societies in New World Order down in Dallas, an analysis of FEMA, an analysis of coup d'etat in America. I'm saying this to you because the details are in the tape. Now, it ain't about the money. We can never make enough money. We're not accumulating money to have a revolution. We're accumulating our morality and building up our courage, and that is the revolution. This is the revolutionary factor. Where's that? I got it up here. I'll show you what the revolution looks like. I think I got a picture of the revolution. Got a lot of funny faces on it, but you'll pick up the importance of it. It's just a picture of the revolution, what it looked like. And I don't see it. It's just a picture with a bunch of people on it. Just thousands of people. And so I just suggest that we keep this up in our minds as in the forefront of our relationship. Now, as I go different places, especially to these schools, and I say this in closing, that you want someone to share in the spirit that it can happen. And no one wants to believe that it can happen because everyone believes that somehow whoever this beast is, he has the right to stay forever. And that was never what the story was as it was told. Right. So then we know that it is inevitable that he will lose. Others like him inevitably have lost, and they did. That's right. So now we know that because we know the law, we will act like we know the law and we will prepare. Where is the court in Los Angeles that the people have agreed to will be the place where disputes will be heard? You have your own court. You understand a system. And within it, you can bring charges or allegations or grievances to someone who will hear your court, your day. And this is justice. Every nation has a system of justice. What will we do with the food? How will we deal with the houses? What will we do with the money we owe to the white people? How many of y'all here owe white people money? That's right, that's right, that's right. We need to get that off of you. We need to get that off of you, and when we win the revolution, you're debt free. You don't have to pay anymore. There'll be no one left to pay. Right. I always tell you, you see them nice big houses up there in the hills? Go up there and pick you out a house. This is a spirit that we're sharing. One last round. Rockefeller was involved in the killing of the Kennedy. That's only important because the Rockefeller is the chairman of the board of the establishment in America that unifies with establishments in other countries. Rhodes and Rothschild have a secret society, a owner's secret society that knows no initiation of secret rights. There are other secret societies like Skull and Bones with Bush. Bush and Skull and Bones laying in a tomb. Laying in a tomb, butt naked, doing his initiation. A coffin, rather. Never a coffin, right. The tomb is the clubhouse. Imagine you got a clubhouse called a tomb. Imagine if you told your people that your headquarters was in a cemetery. The dead. A skull and crossbones for a symbol. And when you go over, you jump in a pile of mud and you wrestle each other naked in the mud. Can you see George Bush wrestling with 14 other white men in a pile of mud, butt naked? Oh, yeah, say yes, I can see him. That's important because that's taking them back to the beginning. That's a cave bath. That's what mud wrestling is. That's cave bath. That take them back to where they came from. So, last thing is that we be aware of those people, those institutions. We are focusing on those things and they're available in those tapes as a way of focusing. We all remember the story of the Wizard of Oz. We want to keep it in the forefront of our relationships because encoded it is a message about how easy this will be if we decide to make it happen. The three people and the lady and the dog set out to get courage. They wanted a heart. They wanted what they wanted, courage, a heart, a brain, and to go home with it. And so with those type of ideological goals, spirit goals, value goals, we know all of us need those things. And so we know that we all would be in pursuit of those things, and on the yellow brick road, they were to go to find the wizard who had been holding these things back from them, and if only they could get to the wizard, they could make it come about. But the wizard, he had people in the land of Oz who blocked the people from getting to him. They was the OEO boys, were they? OEO. Right? They marched around and they protected the wizard. Now as the wizard grew up in extended privileges, people drove his cars, cooked his food, massaged his back, took care of his woman. He had all kind of pathological easements. So he wasn't very strong about himself. In fact, he was very frail and weak and fidgety. But he was held up by Gates, the CIA, the FBI, the IMF, the World Bank, the United Nations, the Supreme Security Council. He was held up by those things, and they distracted the people that the one at the top ain't like the one who's buffing the top. The buffer, the one between us and them. We're down to a chemistry about how to move him off. Now, sometimes when they're playing football, they have a trap play, where the quarterback takes the ball, and he goes to hand it to the guy, but actually the guy looks like he's going through this hole, the lineman moved that way, the other guy moved that way, everybody follows him, and a hole opens up with nobody touching anybody. It was a trap play. They just went different directions, everybody followed them, and they opened up a hole in the middle. Suggestion that part of this will be like a trap play, that you will be able to move them through a set of decoy operations that will have them draw themselves to one direction, but that ain't the direction where it's coming. So the OEO boys protect the Wizard of Oz, but when they finally got to Eveline, they had to pass the Wicked Witch of the West. She was the one, the West, this is it, this is her, she is the Wicked Witch of the West. Here she is right here. When they got past her, she melted. They threw the water on her. They went to clean her, they put the water on her, and she melted. Eveline, they flushed her down the toilet. But when Eveline died, the OEO people, they came out and sang a song. They sang, "Can you see a brand new day? Dun, 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 dun." The same people that were holding up Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man, the same people that were holding them up, they ended up helping them get to the wizard. But when they got to the wizard, whether it was Richard Pryor and the Wiz, or the little white boy from the Wizard of Oz, it was the wizard who was the weakest of them all. If we get to the top of the Chandlers, the Salzburgers, the Graham Myers, the DuPonts, the Morgans, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, when we get to the top of the owners of this thing, you should be the happiest you could ever be, because they are the weakest and the easiest to conquer. It's that buff we got to deal with to get the thing squared away, so we don't underestimate the value of the buff, because we will win when we beat the buff, because the one at the top of these hills, we got them. We got the lights go out and the maids and the drivers stay home. They'll kill themselves. So I suggest to you, like the Wizard of the Oz, that if we were to pursue the values and we were to get as a goal to the bottom of the wizard, that we had a major investigation and we all worked towards identifying them. We stopped everything, took 1 week off. And we just stopped everything. I call for 1 week when we just all do nothing. But get together in every city where we are and establish who it is in that city, top 25, who are doing it to us. And then on the 8th day, these things are sent someplace, and subsequent to that, that action be planned around those identified in those cities. And we got it. It's really just that simple. I suggest to you that you, the nation, will be under attack. I saw in Chicago when they attacked the nation with that little phony story about the drug story, where they alleged the nation was selling drugs and trading whitefish for cocaine. Whitefish. Don't deal in no whitefish. Taking it to the 50th and Drexel headquarters. That's Jesse Jackson's headquarters. I'm trying to suggest to you that the attacking of the young black male and the attacking of the Nation of Islam is important to the beast to conquer our communities. In every city I go through, and we all have to vary our petty feelings and disagreements with each other, in every city I go to, I beg for them to extend a little, to the nation especially, because they are watching us relate with each other to attest that if they mess with one of you, do the others of us react? If they mess with any of the other of us, will you react? And we must be so interwoven that they know it's like a chain link fence. If you touch one, you touched us all. If it be Brother Wali, never a day should pass when we don't bring up his name. They should always know we never forgot the day he left us mysteriously.
That's right.
So that we don't, I watch, and I'll tell you, I know people who say they love the nation, but you can't get them out here to say something to defend the nation. In any of these places they're going to speak, we give it enough speakers and enough speeches to sound the alarm to reach all our people. If every minister in this church say, give a little moment for when you see the nation, anytime, in the cold, anytime you see a brother or sister stopped by the police, if you can't stop and lay your car there, honk your horn. Honk like you know them, wave. Right. We want every police to see that whoever was stopped, we must know them. Just honk. Because at that point, they will come to understand that you saw them. You don't ever have to know them. That's not important. You're codifying a response to say, check, don't mess with them. You might not have time to stop, but you got to honk. It's very important. When young brothers are being attacked, watch them very carefully. And we've all suffered losses, so we must cut the losses. I have so much respect and love for you. I'll be around for some days. There's some things I want to leave around to assure that you have access to some of the things that I have. I have a list of the Boule. You should know who the Boule is in Los Angeles. You should have a list of names of other white people who we have identified in organizations here who run the activities of the other whites. And I am proud to have had this opportunity to share a few things with you about this. Remember this, some people beat at the white people and they beat at them real hard. They hit them like a bat hitting a tree. But I tell you, a razor blade will chop that tree down faster than a person beating it all day with a bat. Because the razor blade has a cutting edge on it. And eventually you slice it long enough, the tree will go down, but the bat can hit it all day as hard as it wants. It will never bring the tree down. It'll look like it does in NAACP, Urban League, Operation Push, some of the churches. It'll look like it did. But we know it's hit that it ain't got the right tool. So remain the cutting edge of the African community, and in time the tree will go down. Thank you.
Let's give Brother Steve Coakley another hand, please. Oh, praise the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. I bear witness there is but one God, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever. In the name of his Christ, our Messiah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, in the name of their messenger, our divine reminder and our divine warner, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, I greet you all again in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu Alaikum. We've been well taught. We've been well warned. Let's give Brother Steve another hand, please. Thank you, Brother Steve. Thank you so much. Brother's telling us what time it is. We all should not only listen to what the brother have said, but go and investigate some of these things for ourselves. What he did was directed our mind on where we should be thinking, what we should be developing. And we want to thank the brother for that. Without taking too much time, I'd like to ask 3 questions. How many of you are here for your first, second, or third time? Would you show by a raise of hand? Give them a hand. All praises. 2 questions. You who are here for the first, second, or third time, do you believe that what you heard here today to be the truth? If so, raise your hand. All praises be to Allah. We have one final question. You who believe that what you heard here today to be the truth and the best thing for our people, are you willing at this time to join on with this truth and help us get this truth out to the rest of our people? If so, would you stand? Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.